And so when they come to you for services, when they keep asking you the same questions again and again, and you find that you're good at it, you're answering, you have the knowledge, you have the ability to help, to heal, to give information and knowledge, whatever your thing is, that's usually a sign that the community is ready for you to step into your practice. When that happens, either you think you're ready or the village is kind of pushing you into that path, pushing you into those shoes. Take a shamanic journey on it or receive messages however you receive messages. Okay. So as I was stating, I'll go ahead and start the slideshow in just a second. You guys are not on the recording. If any of you guys ever watch my replays on my YouTube, I don't include you guys on the recording. So the only person that you will see when you see this replay will be me. I did record this for anybody who might benefit from it in the future. So if you want to go back to anything that we covered today, you want to you didn't get a chance to take notes or anything, the video will be up on my YouTube channel shortly. So just give me a chance to make sure that I edit it and stuff and get it up there on YouTube. This is tips for running a shamanic or spiritual practice, a business for yourself, if that's something that you've already started or it's something you're interested in. These are my tips that I normally give to my second level shamanic certification students, because this is now when they would graduate from this class, is when they would now be able to present themselves as a shamanic practitioner. They can open their doors and now offer services to others. And so we've been spending time together practicing our journeys on other people and as well as ourselves, doing lots of healing. And now comes to the time of, well, how do you even run the business? How do you open the doors? How do you know how to set prices? How do you make sure that you're balancing all the things? So I put together this little, handy dandy workshop to kind of go over that so that you guys will have some tips. And these are just my tips. I'm sure that you guys have some of your own, or you might follow people or have your own other instructors or other maybe even business coaches that will have ideas even more than my tips that I have. And I'm getting a reminder, thank you so much. My advanced graduate student, Earth Among the Stars, has reminded me to introduce myself. So I do forget, my apologies. So for those of you who don't know me, I am Maestra Wyzdom DVine. My shamanic name is Heals the Mother. I am a certified shamanic healer, an instructor, a mentor, a Shamanic Reiki Master Teacher, and the founder of the Wyzdom DVine Mystery School. And so I offer classes to anyone who's really interested, as long as we are aligned. But mainly who I speak to are women who are starting their own spirit-led businesses that are stuck sometimes, or they are finding themselves in their head behind other things that they want to do, where they want to open their doors up, they want to offer their gifts to all of their communities, to those who are meant to receive their beautiful gifts. But sometimes things get in the way, such as not having the certifications that they need, not knowing what tools are out there, not having that soul level confidence that they need. And so that's where I come in and I help. So offering things like this workshop is part of my big vision of getting that information out there to those who are trying to run these businesses, because it's my belief that as many of these businesses that can exist as at the same time as possible is only that much more beneficial to the overall the planet and the universe at large. Okay, so that's me. Now let's go ahead and get started on our slideshow. If you guys have any questions along the way, if you find that I'm talking fast, because I do, we call that an El Paso accent. So that's where I'm from. So if I'm talking too fast, please go ahead, use your icons to raise your hand, or use the chat box to say, something in chat. Or if you'd like to just come off mute and just say, excuse me, Maestra, I have a question, go ahead and do that as well. And I can slow down and we can discuss any of these things. And let's clear the chat box now so that I can get rid of that icon. All right, so as I stated, this is tips for running a shamanic spiritual practice presented by me, Maestra Wyzdom DVine, and the Wyzdom DVine Mystery School. Okay, and so you'll find that a lot of these tips are going to be speaking specifically to those who study shamanism, because like I said, this was originally written for my students, for those who are going off after getting level 1 beginners certification from me, then their practitioners certification from me, and then they can go on as well and get their advanced level 3 shamanic practitioners certification from me as well. So I'm really speaking mostly to them, but I do feel like these tips can still transfer over to anyone running any type of spirit-led practice. We would just alter that. So instead of maybe shamanic journey, maybe you would tap in and receive messages a different way. We'll talk about that as it go along. Okay. So first tip here I have is the decision to start seeing clients or to open a practice of any kind is a personal one. So just because you have gifts or because you have a certification, you've learned how to do something, you've healed something, doesn't necessarily mean everyone wants to start a business. And I'm aware of that. So that's okay. If you have gifts, if you have, you just want to practice on your friends and family, you want to just do it for your kids, you just want to use these tools and gifts on yourself to make sure that you stay in your own little chrysalis, your own little bubble a little while longer, there's nothing wrong with that. So there's no rush. Number 1 tip here, A, is no rush. There's no rush to make that decision because it's not for everyone. B, that's okay if you never decide. If you decide, you know what, I received certifications, I received these classes, but really, I don't know if I meant to start a business. I meant to just kind of do them for myself and my family. I'm the leader of this community. This community is in my house. There is nothing wrong with that. But when you do think you might be ready, so to see, or when your community begins coming to you for services. So in my case, that's kind of how I knew. I wasn't sure where I was meant to start trying. I knew I wanted to start a business. I was doing spiritual work for myself and lots of healing and complex PTSD work on me. And I was studying all of those things for me, but I was also creating music, especially like spiritual music, meditation music for others. I was doing nutritional and dietary need plans for others. So I was doing a couple of different things, but Spirit told me which one of these was meant to be the business I was going to actually open by sending me someone all the way from Berlin to message me and ask me, do you do distance services? Now, this was already after I had family and friends that would constantly come to me anyways. So in the shamanic belief, we believe that long time ago, the ancients chose the shamans. That's one of the ways the shamans were chosen, was the ancients, the village chose you by coming to you, by recognizing you, even before you recognize that in yourself. And so when they come to you for services, when they keep asking you the same questions again and again, and you find that you're good at it, you're answering, you have the knowledge, you have the ability to help, to heal, to give information and knowledge, whatever your thing is, that's usually a sign that the community is ready for you to step into your practice. When that happens, either you think you're ready or the village is kind of pushing you into that path, pushing you into those shoes, take a shamanic journey on it or receive messages however you receive messages. So if you pull oracle cards, if you go into a deep meditative state, whatever your way of receiving messages from your spirit team, from the divine, I suggest to do that. So for my students, I tell you guys, take a journey on. They're very used to me saying take a journey on just about everything. So take a journey, stop for a moment and just ask the guides, is this meant for me? Am I ready for this path? Am I ready to open doors to this business? That's exactly what I did when she wrote me from Berlin and said, do you do distance services? I said, do I? And I went into Shamanic Journey and I met with my guides and we started rearranging my sacred garden in the spirit realm to be ready to bring people in there to start doing shamanic journeys for clients. And they said, don't worry about it. This was the message that they gave me, letter D. The medicine comes from them. but through you. They said, don't even worry, it's okay. When you have a spirit-led business and you have these gifts, it's really coming from the divine. It's coming from spirit. It's coming from source. So all will be well when the time comes. Just have faith and confidence. As long as you're bringing spirit in, you don't have to worry, because you're just a channel. You're just a vessel for these gifts. Okay. Next, when you're first getting started. When you're first getting started, I suggest that you open sacred medicine space, cast your circle of protection, invite your guides, light a white candle. I have a candle lit right now. I light a candle and open up sacred medicine space. Even if you guys don't see me do that on camera, I do that on just about every event that I hold, because I want to make sure that I'm bringing in the spirits. I'm asking the ancients, the ancestors, the divine to be here with us and to lead the conversation, lead the paths, open the ears to the most perfect messages heard by the right perfect person, that I say the things that somebody really, really needed to hear today, so on and so forth. So when I started my business, I did the same thing. Open sacred medicine space, make spirit and I need, so this is a shamanic term, I need means right relationship. We are in balance and in right relationship with all nature, the universe, with everything all around us, keeping the laws of nature. So make spirit and right relationship the center of all of your creations and decisions, whether it's your websites, your logos, whether or not to open an LLC, when you go sign up for an EIN, when you register in your business, every single time you're going to do anything for your business, my tip here is to always just open sacred space. Open up that sacred space, invite your divine team to be all around you, and then just work as normal. Work at your computer, write the paperwork that you need to, write the descriptions for all of your classes or your programs or your bundles, whatever it is. Invite the divine to be there with you, and that way you know that you've channeled and you're in alignment with everything that you're doing from your business. If you start at that one thing, then you can feel confident that you're on the right path. And then B is to create a system. Create some kind of system. Imagine yourself like, every single time I sit down, I have the same thing I do. I light this candle, I sit down at my desk or wherever your spot is, I open up my sacred medicine space, I maybe do a little visualization exercise, or maybe a little affirmation, maybe I read a list of the intentions that I want my business to attain. Maybe I read a little description of the people I'd like to help and why is it important that I help them. Maybe I read my mission statement, something like that, to get started, and then go forward with the rest of your planning. Okay, now equal energy exchange. This part is really hard, especially for some of us who are healing money wounds, some of us who maybe grew up in a lack mentality, or we're taught that it was righteous to give away spiritual services, to not charge for these things, that it wasn't in alignment with the divine to do so. So that's the reason why, instead of just calling it name your prices, I make sure to call it equal energy exchange, because it is an energy, and the universe does crave balance. It's gonna figure out a way to bring balance into your life no matter what, right? So for example, if you are working, and you're not taking off any time, you might accidentally manifest a reason to have to take off time from work, whether it's a small ankle sprain or an illness, cancel, erase, delete. But whether it's something like that that's making you have to slow down, that makes you now have to take that time because you weren't balancing your time, you weren't balancing that energy. So if you don't figure out a way to balance the energy that you're offering, the universe will figure out a way to do so. And so you want to make sure that it's equal and it's in harmony with the universe. So, A, there are many factors to consider when setting prices for services. To be in alignment with the laws of nature, be sure not to undercharge or overcharge. This will, of course, be a personal decision between you and the divine. So again, you're going to open up your sacred space. If you are familiar with taking shamanic journey, you're going to take a shamanic journey, or you're going to ask your cards or your pendulum or some other way of divination, and you're going to make sure that you're bringing in the divine to answer these questions for you. But you want to make sure that you're not undercharging out of fear, that for you, undercharge and overcharge is personal to each person. For you, what feels too low that you're just doing that in the plate, you're just pricing it at that price because you're afraid nobody will buy if you don't go that low. You start thinking for your clients, well, they have this to take care of and they have that, and they really don't have money to be spending on my services. You don't want to think for them and speak for them. Anywhere where you're doing something out of unworthiness, shame, guilt, or fear, that's in a too low range. That's in a range where you're not in alignment in the underactive, right? So we were talking about chakras, that would be an underactive energy. And then you don't want to be so overactive that you start to bring yourself into alignment. Again, this is up to you. If your subconscious thinks, oh my gosh, what are we doing? This is way too much. No one's ever going to pay it, but everyone else is charging that. So I guess I should just go ahead and charge that because that's what that person's charging too. If your subconscious and your inner spirit thinks that's too high and you put that price on it anyways, guess what you're going to do? You're going to sabotage that. You're going to absolutely bring down the possibility of selling that service or course or whatever it is, because in your mind you went too far. And again, that was either out of fear or comparison or shame or guilt, right? I feel guilty because that's what they charge and I feel like I might be undercharging myself. Sounds like someone came off of mute. Do we have a question? No? Okay. So then B, this includes balance. So your energy exchange doesn't just include money, it includes balance across the board. Like I said, if you're being too much of a workaholic and you're not taking time for play, that would not be in balance. So you want to make sure you're in balance with your clients. You want to make sure you're in balance with your life and work balance. You want to make sure that you're doing things for you. You're taking care of your health. You want to make sure that you're taking care of your relationships. You're watering all your relationships around the board, right? And so codependency sometimes comes into play when a spirit-led person opens a spirit-led business. We may have been taught, again, that it's not righteous to say no, that it's not righteous to cut people off and to say, I'm sorry, I'm not available between these hours and these hours, to go on do not disturb. And so that can now put us into a place of possible codependency. And we don't want that. We don't want to get into that place where we're answering every single text because we're afraid to lose the person, afraid to lose the sale, or even afraid that that person's not going to be able to be all right if we don't answer them right away. Now, I take the moments, how do I say this? Every situation, I take them situation by situation and ask myself, do I want to respond to this? So if a ping comes to my phone on DM at 10 p.m. and I did happen to see it because it's not on do not disturb or some other reason, maybe I'm working that night at something else, and I see that, I ask myself, do I feel in alignment to answer this person? Do I feel like this is actually within my boundaries, within my limits to answer them? And that's my choice. So it doesn't have to mean that you just completely say no every single time either. It's up to you. You get to decide. Somebody coming in. Okay, did someone say something? No? Okay. I hear someone, so if you have like a little background noise or you're talking to someone, just come on mute, just put on mute if you're able to. Okay, so being codependent doesn't actually help anyone. It's not a healing vibration. So if I rush to someone, let's say I have a client and she's messaging me all hours of the morning, all hours of the night, every single time she has a fear or something pops up and she doesn't know what to do and she wants an answer from spirit, she reaches out to me. And this was me when I first opened my door, so I can definitely speak to this. She reaches out to me and I'm like, okay, let's just talk over this again. Okay, let me ask for you. I'll go into Journey real quick. I'll ask the guides. Let me pull some cards for you. Let me do this. Let me do that. Right now, what's happening is I'm taking away this person's right to be empowered. I'm taking away their power and their relationship with spirit, their ability to build up their trust in their own intuition and to exercise their own gifts, because I'm doing it for them every time. I'm doing it for them every time. And so that's not an empowering vibration to be in. So it's really not a healing vibration to think we have to save everyone or have to be there at every moment. We have to give everything and give our all to everyone. Having boundaries and limitations is actually a more healing vibration, because you're showing by example. You would want your clients to know that if they need to go on do not disturb sometimes and take sabbatical, or say, I'm sorry, I don't have the emotional bandwidth to take this on today, I'm already filled to the brim, can we reschedule, can we have a time to schedule this for next week, so on and so forth. Whatever it is, you would want them to do the same. So you would need to do that to be an example as well. That is more of a healing vibration, and it gives them back their power. Okay, the C is set boundaries with others and self. So remember to do that with yourself as well. So we're talking, I was talking about a second ago of workaholism. I literally had to give myself a time limit at night that no more work was allowed to happen after a certain time of night. And I'd set an alarm, and that alarm would go off, and they'd be like, ooh, okay, step away. Because I was doing this, like I was doing it to the point where I was getting very little sleep. And every single hours that I was awake, every minute that I was awake, even if it was like I was asleep, but then I woke up in the middle of the night, pick up my phone. I have an idea. I have creativity coming through me. I'm texting, I'm typing, make a little memo, little note to myself in my phone so I can like go turn that into a class later, so on and so forth. And it wasn't good for my health. It wasn't good. And the guides were constantly getting me for it. They were constantly like, that is out of alignment and out of harmony with the balance of the universe. But I'm like, I know, but if I could just, let me just get this out really, really quick, and then I'll go back to sleep. And it's okay to do it once or twice here and there. But for me, it was a habit to do that all the time. So I finally had to get really, really strict with myself. I have what I call like teams in my head. I have the work team. I have the exercise and health and proper eating team. I have the relationship team, right? So what I would imagine at nighttime is the work team, when the alarm would go off, that was their bell for the night. That was the end of their shift. They'd get up, take all of their papers and stuff like that out of my mental conference room. They're going to go away for the night. The cleanup crew would come and sweep up, put things away. And then the nighttime crew would come and help me get to sleep. Remind me, okay, here's your nighttime routine. Dim the lights, read a little book or something, get yourself in the mindset to get to sleep. Okay. And then D is never be afraid to close shop and or take sabbatical. Some of you guys have been with me long enough over the years that you guys know that this is a big one for me. I will take sabbatical in a heartbeat. I will close shop and be like, I'm not available. It's some of you guys are subscribed to my email newsletter that went out today, and I talked about how I didn't make an email newsletter for the month of June. It was a busy month for me, and a big chunk of that was spent with my son, who turned 25 and visited home for the first time since the pandemic. So that's where my focus was. It wasn't on writing an email newsletter last month, and that's okay. I am completely okay with that. I kind of talk about that a little bit in the newsletter, and I said that that's how we turn on our goddess energy and turn up our receptive mode superpowers, right? If you want to show the universe that you're ready to be in receptive mode, take time off. Take time off with confidence that the ball will keep rolling, and that the money will come in, and that the right clients are still going to find you, and the right messages and transformations and healing is still going to happen, even if you take time away. All right, next, tend to your own spiritual needs regularly. So this is my next tip here. Tending to your own needs is so super important, and I think not promoted enough. Like, it's always the hustle culture, right? So that was one of the ways. I did have a coach one time that, you know, it just seemed like everything was supposed to be content. Anything in my life could be content. Oh, that happened. You know what? That would make a really great marketing tool. That would make a really great promotion. Talk about that. Talk about this. And it got to the point where I felt like I wasn't taking care of me, myself, and my own needs. And all my life had become about the business. Even my own regular day in and day out life, where it's now content that I could use for the business. And so that was not in alignment with my spirit, and that to me is not in alignment with the divine or the universe. So make sure that you schedule your regular sessions, your Reiki, your healing, do your own meditations, seek out your own healers. I always say good healers have healers. I do. I've scheduled my healers. I see my healers once or twice a month. I receive, take time to receive that healing, not just giving it and not just doing it on myself. Because of course I'm connecting with spirit on my own on a regular basis, but I'm circulating that energy, making sure that there's enough to go around to everyone whenever I support another healer. But also sometimes we miss things. Sometimes we're so in our heads. We think we get the answers, but it's always nice to have confirmation, just having that confirmation from another person, from another healer. And it's nice to just be in the chair sometimes, right? We get to lay out on the table for once, right? So make sure that you're on top of those things. Keep that up even after you're out of classes, whoever you feel comfortable with. Keep on top of that. Stay in touch with your healers and stay on top of your own personal sessions. B, shadow work for running a business and money wound healing. Tending to your own spiritual needs, especially when you have decided to open your business, open your doors for practice, you're going to run into shadows. You're going to keep running into them, and you're going to be like, what's going on? I think I made a post about this yesterday that says that if you are on a spiritual path, it's imperative for you to do your trauma work. It's imperative for you to do your shadow work and heal those old wounds from trauma, because you might think that, I don't know why I just can't get this to work. There is a boulder right in the middle of this pathway. I see it. Spirit keeps telling me this next thing is supposed to work, or this business is supposed to take off for me, but something is just in the way. And a lot of times that what's in the way is us. It's our own shadows. So stopping and asking, if I'm going, and no matter which way I turn, I can't seem to get this next thing going, even though I feel like spirit told me, my guide showed me that this was the next step. Why can't I do it? I'll stop and I slow down. Okay, all right, what is it? That's when we go back to those teams in the mind. Okay, teams, help me dig out who in my inner psyche is stopping the bus, and reveal it to me and show me, what do I need to work on? What do I need to sit with? What is that next thing? That usually happens when you're going to level up, when you've gone really, really far, you're so proud of yourself, and then you hit that ceiling again. In order to break through that ceiling and go up to the next level, a lot of times you'll hit a shadow or some kind of wound that needs to be healed. For money wound healing, one of my favorite exercises to do, I kind of talked about this when I used to do the money wound healing group meetups, is to imagine holding your hand out, close your eyes, and imagine someone is putting money in your hand. Start out with like a big bill, like hundreds, or $100 bills, and like put them a lot at a time. And then start to see where you feel that resistance. Imagine that they have a stack of hundreds, and that one just equal 1,500. So do 1,500, 3,000, and then stop where you feel that resistance in your body. Like when it starts to feel weird or icky that someone would just be handing you this money, that's where your next cap is on your money wounds. And that's where you would start working from. Okay, so I know me, I know that I can safely manifest, safely bring in, let's say, 2,500 from my business a month. Any more than that starts to feel a little weird and icky, and like my brain can't comprehend it, or I feel like, no, I can't believe me. They want to give me this amount of money. Catch yourself on any kind of thoughts like that, and then just go into healing. If you are one of my students, I'm going to tell you to do a journey on that. Do a journey, go speak to your guides, and ask them, where is that shadow coming up for me? Where is that money wound? What's that next thing that I need to heal so that I can go up to that next level? And then that goes along with the next one, which is watch out for spiritual bypassing. If you do have wounds, if you do have healing, if you do have old trauma, don't lean so far into just focusing on your spirit business, and spirit got me, and spirit wants me to do this, so spirit guides me, that you don't do any of your work, which includes working with a mental health professional if you're meant to. I along with my list of healers, or my healers that I have, my couple of healers that I see, I also see a therapist. She has been graciously dealing with me since 2018. I love her. I wouldn't be where I am without her. And sometimes I go in there and I don't really know what to talk about, and we just talk anyways. And then something comes up, like while we're just talking, I'm like, I don't know, I feel good today. And while we're talking, something will come up, maybe something that my feelings got hurt by my husband the other day, or something, just something small, but we address it. She hears that and she brings it to the surface for healing. And then I take that out of the therapy session, and then I go into journey. I go with my guides. I go into healing. I go into self Reiki. I do something with that on the spiritual side as well. So we're working together as a team. And she already knows that I'm all woo woo woman, and she works with me. So finding the right mental health professional that you can feel comfortable being yourself with, that's also important. But another way that we don't want a spiritual bypass is we don't also want to skip out on just our spirit work in specific for us. If we're constantly working on others and working on others, sometimes that can mean that we started to forget to go into those sessions for ourselves, to go into meditation for us, to go into journey, to go find out if we need a dismemberment, or we need a cord cutting, or we need a past life, another past life healing. Different things like that will come up. And if you just ignore it, and I know sometimes my students will tell me, I think I've been avoiding journey for myself lately, because I know there's this big thing I need to heal. And so you can put it off for a little while, but after a while, you're gonna have to get in there. So watch out for that. I can just tell real quick, a personal anecdote to that was the very first time I ever took sabbatical from my business. I was having these like panicky, sad feelings. I didn't know what was happening. And I went into my therapist and I told her, like, I'm off from work. I don't have any classes or anything right now. I'm just taking time for me, but I just keep getting this feeling. And she said, honestly, it sounds to me that healing others has been your coping mechanism for a while. And now that you have to just sit with yourself, there's something in you that you're avoiding looking at. And so, of course, she was right. And once I was able to face that and do that shadow work, then I was able to enjoy the rest of my downtime. Okay, D, allow yourself to dream and let your spirit team help you. Allow yourself to think about how far this can go. Think outside of the box. Again, if you're working on money wound healing, you might be thinking this big and it's really, really tiny, and it doesn't feel like it's, I'm fine with just this much. I'll just take a little corner of the crumbs off the table. Allow yourself to think bigger than that, and allow your spirit team to help you, because they know even more than what you do. They know how big it can be, even bigger than your imagination. Put it in their hands, put it in spirit's hands, and let the divine bring to you your rightful success, your rightful business. The people are the most important part. The people that are meant to receive your services, they need for you to think bigger. Because if you just want to only talk to people right here, over here in this corner, then you're missing all the people on the path that are really meant to receive your services. So don't keep yourself small just for you. Let your spirit team help you, and allow yourself to dream. And then that goes into our last one on this page, is know that you are special. There are some people, and I was taught by my trainers, that to believe that you're not special. That all of these gifts and everything that we receive, our rights that we receive, our initiations and the opening up to more and more spiritual divine pathways, they do not make us special. And I disagree with that completely. I agree. I feel, my belief is that we are special, but so is everyone else. So by someone's definition, that might mean, well, in that case, that means that we're not special. And I disagree. I feel like we're all unique and we're all special in our own special way. But yes, everyone is special. Does everyone have the ability to open up these gifts, to open up clairvoyance, to open up shamanic pathways? Yeah, they do. Our brains are wired to open up different types of sixth senses and tap in and be helpers for everyone. So yes, in that instance, in that way, even though we are special, everyone is special. The laws of the universe apply to them too. I'm not special just because when I plug in my light, I turn on the switch, and now all of a sudden I have light. Ooh, I'm favored by the divine. I'm special and no one else is, because the electricity is still turned on for everyone. It's on for this whole building, right? If everybody wants to turn on their electricity, they can turn on their electricity. They can turn on the light. That's all they had to do. But maybe in the way I found the switch, maybe in the way that I connected to the bulb, maybe in the way that I manifested the place that had the switch to begin with, is the parts that make me special. But the laws of the universe are there to work for everyone. So yes, I'm special, but so is everyone else. So no comparisons, no comparisons. When you get started, tending to your needs means don't go on social media, don't go on YouTube, don't go looking at this person's business and that person's business, this person's way of doing journeys, this person's way. They see these visions so vividly, but I only hear the messages, or I feel things, but they do this and they do that. Don't compare yourself to anyone. You are special in your own unique way, and your business is going to show that. It's going to show your own unique specialness, and your clients will be able to sense that. The people meant for you will be able to sense that. They will be drawn to you and your specialness. All right, keep going. Did I go up too far? Nope, that's it. Okay. All right, next is regular upkeep. So this kind of goes along with tending to your spiritual needs. But regular upkeep is overall. So A is keep on top of your studies for life. Somebody who studies computers, right? They always make comments after they come out of their schooling. Almost immediately after they get out of school, their knowledge is obsolete, right? Because computers are changing, technology is changing so fast all the time that they have to figure out ways to constantly keep abreast of the new updates, the new technology, right? So they have to keep their brains sharp and keep their knowledge and skills sharp. I believe that is the case for spirit-led businesses as well, in a different way. The techniques, the modalities are all going to be, the same. If you know Shamanic Journey is going to be a great tool for you to use always. However, make sure that you keep taking the journey and check in on things. Make sure that you find out more things just beyond what you learned, even in my class. What other things are out there? What other types of shamanism out there? What are other types of tools that we didn't learn in class that you can add to your shamanism? What are some new techniques? I can't fit all of the techniques that are out there into our class. So studying those things and keeping on top of what your community needs, what are your own spiritual needs, because what you might have needed 2 years ago isn't what you need this year now either, right? So same thing for your clients and same thing for you. You're going to have to keep growing. So you're going to have to keep changing how you approach your own healing. And as you learn that, 10 to 1, you actually will be able to share that with your community as well. Which B, stay in touch or in tune with the collective or your community. So that's all kinds of things, right? So if you are very community based and within your local area, that's who your community is, that's who your clients are, they're within that area, and there's suddenly something going on. There is a food shortage, there's a heat wave, there's a drought, there's all kinds of things going on. Staying in tune and in touch with that is really helpful, right? Making sure that if you're doing shamanic journeying, maybe even taking a journey to send energy to the drought, maybe getting out and talking to people. I just recently had a panel where we did the discussion where we asked people in the community, in the spiritual community, different questions, and that helps me to understand where are we at now, what are the needs of the community, where is their thought processes, where are they thinking. Maybe 4 years ago, websites were really, really important. Everybody wanted to have a fancy, super duper high, sleek looking luxury website that like worked on its own and did all these things, and the pictures merged and starts to scroll down for you, and embedded videos and all that stuff. And now so much people are like, nah, that doesn't really matter to me, right? We found that out when we did our questionnaires. For some people, the website isn't that important to them, as long as you have like a menu of services, or you have some kind of way that they know what are your prices. You have some kind of way of expressing that to them. So that's something that you find out from your community by talking to them, by asking questions, by staying in tune. So you know what kind of things to adjust and where to put your focus and your attention. You don't want to put so much focus and attention on something that's just kind of outdated, right? Because if you're not going with the times, then people will find someone else as their spiritual go-to, because they'll feel like, well, this person is just so out of touch, they don't understand my needs anymore. Okay, so C, keep in touch with your tribe or circle, and never be ashamed to share or get an opinion from your circle. So in my case, my students know that once they've taken the first 4 classes of which is called Journey Together of Shamanic Certification Level 1, they are now invited. They jump into my group of students called Your Shamanic Circle. So our Shamanic Circle is there for anything. To ask for help if you need help on your, if you just need prayers and energy sent to something that you're dealing with inside yourself, to a family member or something, to a cause you saw online, and would everybody send energy to this hurricane coming, so on and so forth. But also to ask questions about your business. If you have a client, if you have something that you're really, you're kind of toying around with it, and you just can't quite get the answer to it. Or maybe you did receive the answer, but you want to get confirmation on the answer. I pulled these 3 cards, or I saw these symbols in my shamanic journey. I think it means this. Does anybody want to give me their advice on what they think it means? So make sure that you stay involved in your circle, and you tap on them as a resource whenever you need them. Then next D is be an example of the messages and healing that you deliver. So basically that's like walk the walk, right? If you are giving a message, once again, I'm gonna use it again as if you are a person who is a health and wellness coach, and you can't take time off for yourself and it's affecting your health, then you are not going to be a good example of the messages that you're delivering, right? Do as I say, not as I do doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. I remember being one of those rebellious teenagers. My mama used to always try to give me the do as I say, not as I do message. And that just didn't work for me. I was going to do what I saw her doing, because if it was good enough for her, why wouldn't it be good enough for me? Right? So you want to make sure that you're an example of the messages and the healing you deliver. So again, you don't want a spiritual bypass and only be healing and giving compassion to others, but forgetting to extend that compassion to yourself. If you want to be a safe space for your clients, you got to be a safe space for yourself. If you believe, in my case, that your clients are meant to lead and run successful spirit-led practices, then I have to believe that I can too. So on and so forth, right? So as well as a reflection of the energy you'd like to receive. So again, if you would like your clients to be respectful, make sure that you're respectful. If you feel like you're calling in a specific type of person again and again and again, go back and ask yourself, how do I sometimes have this same issue or the same trait? How am I showing this trait, right? So if you, again, going back to money wounds, if you put out a product, a service, and you have a price on it, and you just keep getting people telling you that's too much. I don't know. I didn't think it was going to cost that much. That's way too much, right? But you felt like you got spiritually aligned. You lit your candle. You opened up sacred medicine space, and you channeled that price. And you went and you looked, and said, hey, no one else is charging like such, too far off from this. It doesn't feel like it's a really crazy price. I feel like it's a good price. Then ask yourself, well, where do you tell people that what they charge is too much? Where are you pointing the finger and saying, oh my gosh, she's charging what? That's way too expensive for that. Not to say that you need to all of a sudden start spending money where you feel like it isn't deserved for your energy of your money to go to. But if you come across someone charging a certain price for something, instead of automatically making sure to tell them it's too expensive, just say, you know what, that's between you and your spirit, that's between you and your path, and so some way that must work for her, that must work for him, that must be a good price for them. Instead of automatically judging it and criticizing it, kind of just cut cords with it. You know what, I'm not exactly sure why they charge that, but it must be working for them, and move on. And then see if that changes the type of people that you are attracting, because now you're changing the way you're looking at things. And again, this is something I can tell you from experience, that has shifted in me, where things don't feel so expensive for me anymore. And even if it's not something I want to pay at that moment, I want to think about, oh, okay, that was more than I thought it would be, but let me think about it, versus, you're crazy. How much? Nah, you better come out of delusional land, so on and so forth. I might be like, whoa, that's a lot, but someone's paying that. So I guess that works for her and her clients. I may not be there yet, but hey, you never know. Never say never, I guess. So I have maybe a different vibration when it comes to that, and then that changes my interaction with my clients when they come to talk to me as well. And then don't forget, also, there's still going to be people that are they're just not your tribe, and that's okay. Always remember that. I'm always telling that to clients. Some people aren't going to like, no matter what you do, they're just not going to vibe with that. And that's okay. That's not your tribe. And that's another reason why you want to walk the walk. You want to be an example of the messages and healing that you deliver, because if you aren't living out loud, showing everyone who you are, and someone does book with you, and then you get to talking to them about, shamanism or something, and they go, oh, I didn't know you were into that. I wouldn't have booked if I would have known that. You want people to know that, so they know that they're booking with the right person. Oh, I'm sorry that you didn't know that, but yes, this is a very big part of my life, and I guess we're just not meant to work with each other, and that's okay. Okay. Moving on. So now your sessions. So we're going to talk a little bit about your sessions. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it here, and then I'm going to break down how I set up sessions when I first started, talk a little bit about that. And these, again, are just suggestions. These are just tips. This is to help you out if you're just getting started, or even if you have been going for a while, maybe this will help you to think about how to streamline and make a system out of the sessions that you offer, so that you're able to just churn out the right amount that is perfect for you at this time. So A, set up an altar or work area. A Wyzdom DVine Mystery School, the course is called Stepping into a Spiritual Path, has some good suggestions. So if you haven't taken my online courses, that specific course does tell you how to create an altar or create a workspace that you're going to use for different things, including doing sessions for other people, or if you need to carry one with you for on the go. I give you some tips on how to carry one with you, what kind of things to carry on you, so that you're prepared if you need to, if you go to see people maybe at their house, or if you meet people at the park, or if you have office space that you rent, but you share it with other people, so you can bring your stuff home. Things like that. So set up some kind of an altar or work area that is designated as the special place where you're going to do your work. So that tells spirit, that tells your subconscious mind, your neural pathways, all of your inner selves, that tells all of your spirit guides, when I step into this space, I'm here to do work now. I'm here to be in connection with spirit. I'm here to help. I'm here to heal, so on and so forth. Then B is never forget the golden rule is permission. When you start off offering services to anyone, my students know that I ask them to take a pre-journey. That's a journey that you go to your guides. And again, if you don't take journey, you can use the pendulum, you can use cards, just to even ask both permission of the person. So verbally, do I have permission to offer this healing, or wait till they come and ask you to book the session? But just because you see a problem doesn't automatically mean, ooh, let me just go and get into start doing my mojo on them and start moving their energy and pulling things out if they haven't given you permission. Because you could be messing up their path, their karma. You could be removing things that it wasn't meant for them to have that removed yet. They're on a path. Again, we want to make sure people are empowered. So one of the ways I make sure people are empowered is if they ask me, they let me know that it's okay, or I ask them and they let me know it's okay to go ahead and give them the services. But I also ask permission of the guides, of their guides, of the universe, of source, however you want to call that, by just doing a quick pre-journey, or asking the cards, or using your pendulum or your divining rods. Is it okay? Am I meant to approach this person? I see this person's really struggling, and I keep mentioning that I do shamanic services, and it seems sometimes that she's interested, but she hasn't asked yet. And I just want to know, is it okay okay if I approach that person? Would I be allowed to do the work for them that they need me to do? And then spirit says yes. And then you say, you know what? I know that I brought it up to you, but would you like to try a session with me? Would you like to experience that? Because I really feel like I could help you. And then if the person says yes, then now you got your 2 permissions and you're good to go. So then you're able to help from that place where you already received that permission. So that's the golden rule. It's always to make sure that we ask permission. For my students, if we want to send energy, if you just see an internet post or somebody says, hey, can you guys just send energy? I'm going to surgery today, cancel, erase, delete. But you know, something like that, you can always send it with your star being. You can always send it with that little caveat of if this person is meant to receive, I send this energy, let them receive it. If they could say yes, please let them receive this healing, let them receive this energy. Or you can say star beings, if it's appropriate, please send this healing, please send this energy to this person. Okay, and so then C is listen to spirit and your intuition. So always make sure to remember that they're your guides. So let them guide you. Listen to spirit, listen to your gut. Make sure that if there's any signs, for me, I didn't always listen to the signs, but I always had some kind of way of vetting whether a person was ready. I'll give you guys an example. My mother was really good at sending people to me. Like she was prescribing me to people that she worked with and that she knew. And she lives in Montana. And so she'd just be like, oh, you need to see my daughter. You need to get into a session. She could really help with that. And then the person might be like, well, how much does it cost? Oh, you know, that sounds a little expensive for me. I'll pay for it. I'll pay for it. Oh my gosh, because I just really feel like you need this. This could really help you. And so she was constantly sending this to me, and I kept sending people to me this way, and I kept telling her to please stop, because I have a system and I have to know little ways that this person is meant to work with me. I have to be able to like sense the energy. I have to see where they are when I mention it. What does that energy feel like? I have to see what it says when I talk about price, because again, it's up to me whether I want to offer a sliding scale or not. Rather than have my mother just pay for it, maybe that person, I really felt compelled that, you know what, this time it's okay to give them a lower end price because I feel like we were meant to work together. And so what would happen quite often is she'd send these people, she'd be ready to pay for them, but their schedule would never align. Or they would email me once and then I'd respond to them and answer their question, and then I wouldn't get another email back again for like 3-4 weeks. It was always something off about that. And to me, that was my intuition, that was my spirit, that was spirit telling me this person's really not meant to work with you. She's kind of forcing this. And so I always listened to that. And so my students know that the one time I didn't listen to that, it had very, very detrimental effects. And it was traumatizing for me. And I now make sure that I always listen to that. So pricing for me is one of those ways of a sign that a person is maybe not ready to work with me. But there's other things too. If their energy isn't there, if they come to me and they're like, oh, I want to join class next time. Can you please let me know when you have another level 1 class? Sure, sure, sure. I have a level 1 class open. You said you were interested. Were you thinking, oh yeah, I want to. But you know what? My daughter, this, and then this person had a surgery and I'm taking care of them at home full time now. But maybe I could listen in to the classes. I might have to miss, most of them. And, I started hearing all these things and I'm like, it's really starting to feel like this person maybe isn't meant to have a class right now, to be in this class right now. It's okay if they come back around to it later, but I want them to listen to their intuition as well. And I don't ever want to make anyone feel like they pushed themselves, they forced themselves to be into the class, because then they're just going to have to end up dropping later anyways. And that's not going to be good for either one of us, right? So it's better for them to come when they're nice and spiritually aligned. So make sure that you're allowing that. D, remember your ancestors and offerings. So whoever your guides are that work with you in your business, if your ancestors, especially in shamanism and in a lot of spirit-led business, our ancestors are present for a lot of the work that we do. So we're making sure that we're honoring them, we're venerating them, we're keeping up on our altars, we're giving offerings even at the end of our shamanic journey. So when you work in shamanic journey, you're working with guides. If a guide comes to assist you with someone's healing or they give you messages, or one of their ancestors comes to help, make sure that you give them some kind of offering in journey. Give them something before you leave your sacred garden. So make sure that you're taking care of that. Then E, consider taking a journey to ask a guide or animal to be your specific totem or guide for business. So again, we're talking to people who are ready to run a business, or they're getting ready to run a business, or they already are. If that is you, and you haven't done this yet, consider doing that. Consider stopping for a moment and taking a journey, or going to meditation, or however you receive messages from your guides, and asking for a guide, a specific guide to be revealed to you, and either a spirit animal, an animal totem of some kind, or a guide that will now watch over you and be the spirit over your business, so that you can constantly come to them. You can ask them questions. You can ask them to protect the business. You can ask them to bring to you the guide, the divinely aligned clients that you're meant to have, and so on and so forth. So it's really helpful to have a guide that you can go to specifically just for business. Give them that task, and that's all they do. So if that is you as my student, I suggest taking a journey to do that, and then finding out who shows up, and then make a special place on your altar for them, or make sure that you tend to them, touch base with them every now and then when you take a journey. Just check them to see if there's anything that you need, that they would like you to give them as an offering, especially in the physical realm, or vice versa. All right, we're doing good so far. Let's see, where are we? Time. Okay, so here are the recommended setup for your sessions. So this is how, when I first got started, this is how I set up for a session. And this is whether you're doing distance sessions or in-person sessions. You can alter it for yourself, but these are the steps that I took that made it easy for me, that made it to where I wasn't super burned out. The client got what they needed, got the information they needed. I felt like everything had a system and it was streamlined, and it was very, very beneficial for me to get a lot of practice and experience in healing other people one-on-one before I ever opened up the school to give classes on it. So this is when I was just doing one-on-ones and healings for my clients. So number one is the contact. So you want to have some sort of intake, either via conversation, an email, an intake form, etc., to get a feel for what they need, because half of the time the client doesn't truly know. So if you just have to where you say, a place on your intake form when you say, so what would you like to be seen for today? They're going to say a bunch of stuff, especially, those who aren't used to working with spiritual sessions, or energetic work or Reiki or whatever it is that you do, that they're not sure what you do. They might just kind of might be kind of like a run-on sentence when they send it to you. And then it's kind of our job to kind of discern from that, what is it that they are truly needing out of that. So that's why for me, especially in the beginning, I like to start off with a conversation. Even if a person books with me and they put a little note in there, I still wait till I actually talk to them face to face to kind of figure out what is it that this person is truly needing today, because a lot of times it's not what they thought it was. That happens a lot with mediumship. So I offer shamanic mediumship when it feels needed. I don't have it up on my website. It's not something that I offer on my website. But if a person comes into me because they're experiencing sadness and lethargy, and all they do is they just go to work, and then they just come home and they get right back in the bed, and they are having crying fits, and their kids are starting to get worried about them, and so now they're here to see me, and they just want to know, is there something that I can do to help them, because they're tired of feeling like this. I'll start asking some questions. What kind of things have been going on before this happened? And then if I find out that, well, this has been going on ever since somebody passed away, well, that makes sense. You're grieving, allow yourself the time to grieve. But B, now that they mentioned someone passed away, immediately in my mind's eye, my spirit is going behind me and asking the guides, hey, psst, am I meant to do a shamanic mediumship journey for this person, or a session for this person? And then the guides would be like, yes or no. Sometimes the person will already show up. Your brother is actually sitting right here. Your brother that passed away, he's sitting with me now. And sometimes the guides will say, yes, you're meant to do a journey, do a session, a mediumship session for this person, but their loved one isn't ready yet. Their loved one is still processing through the channels in the spirit realm. So let her know she can come back, do a session for her now for healing. But if she'd like to, she can come back and do a mediumship session with you, and you'll put her in link with her loved one so that they can talk. So that's something that will happen. So she might have thought it was one thing. I was just going to figure out a way to give her some energy so she could just, like, stop feeling like a zombie. But I might end up doing a clearing and a cleansing on her body, and also giving her verbal permission just to allow herself to grieve. And B, now she needs the shamanic mediumship as well. So 2, pre-journey. As I just stated a little while ago, you can either set the appointment before or after you take the pre-journey. Just create a system where your clients know you will be taking a pre-journey for them. So if the person contacts you first and you have a conversation with them, you can either tell them, okay, let's book an appointment in the future for that date, and between today and that date, I'll go ahead and take a pre-journey for you. Or if you're not sure if the guides are going to say you have permission to do the work that you want to do for the person, you might say, okay, now that we've talked and I know what it is that you need, I'm going to go take a pre-journey and I'll get back to you. Take the pre-journey, find out if you're meant to do the work for the person, then come back to them and say, yes, the guides say, absolutely, I can go ahead and do this work for you. Go ahead and go on my website and book now. Or go ahead and we can talk about scheduling now. So it's up to you if you want to book first and then do the pre-journey, or if you want to do the pre-journey and then decide that you can book after you have gotten all the permissions that you need. A lot of times the pre-journey isn't really just about permissions. It's about homework before the session. The person might need to do something. You might need to do something. I've been told before, you need to fast. I've been told before, you need to prepare this exact type of offering. I've been told before, that person needs to take a salt bath right before the session together. So I've been told lots of things about me or the client in the pre-journey. So it's got a lot of helpful information, not just permissions. Number 3, the day of the appointment. Set up your area, clean up. My guys will yell at me if I'm going to do a ceremony for you guys and I haven't vacuumed. It's one of their main things. They're like, you haven't even vacuumed the floor. So I'll need to vacuum all of my, spiritual area so that I can do a ceremony for y'all, because I'm inviting spirit and I'm inviting special guests. Make sure that you do some type of smoke cleanse. So some people call that smudging. Whatever type of cleansing that you do, if you want to put out a special type of cleansing salt, if you have a special type of cleansing spray, if you use Florida water, just make sure that you're cleansing the area. Then you can fill your altar with water if you have one. So give fresh water to the bowl or vessel that you have if you do have an altar for business purposes. And then you can have fresh flowers or etc. if that's something that you do. If you like to have something alive on your altar, which again is mentioned in the course online, then you want to make sure that it's not, you don't have things up there that are just dead. So if you have something up there that's meant to be alive or meant to represent life on your altar, then make sure that you're keeping them alive, or you replace them with new live ones. Do this ahead of time before your client is due to arrive. Then cleanse all the items that you will be using and yourself as well. So again, you can use the Florida water, you can use the smoke cleanse, you can use sound vibration frequencies that have a cleansing effect. You can use whatever it is that you feel comfortable. You can use your selenite wand, cleanse off the area, cleanse the things you're going to be using, and cleanse yourself. And then have your drum, if you drum while you go into trance or journey, or if you don't use that at all, if you have some type of music that you use, have your music ready. So just get everything ready before your appointment. Then you want to have your sacred conversation. So curanderas call this a plática, or a sacred heart-to-heart. As some of you guys know that I am also 3rd generation curandera. So I was always taught to have this sacred heart-to-heart. That's where I was saying, where I might just give them verbal permission to understand that what they're experiencing is grief, and just allow them to grieve, tell them to give themselves time. That could happen during our sacred heart-to-heart. So feel free to name yours whatever feels right. So for me, I call it the Blactica or the Heart to Heart. You can name yours whatever you want to name it if you have another name for it. And this sacred conversation allows spirit guides to come in and lead the conversation so that you say the right things and that they reveal all that needs to be revealed. So once again, when the person's talking and I'm listening in with more than just my physical ears, right? I'm sensing. So sometimes a person might say something and then they might say, I don't know why I said that. And then I'm thinking, well, I know exactly why you said that, because now I know what it is that we need to be working on. Set the intention that this conversation always leads to deeper healing. Okay, so just have an intention. You can just set that and forget that. You can just set it in your business intentions that every time I meet with a potential client or a new client or an old client, that all of the conversations lead to whatever deeper healing is needed. You can just write that in there and then boom, you don't have to say that every single time. 5, cleanse your clients. Now you got them in, we're having our sacred conversation. All right, I know what I need now. I'm going to go into journey for you. I'm going to begin our session now. Let me go ahead and cleanse you so that once I open up the sacred space around both of us, that we are bringing in cleansed energy, because you're stepping on sacred ground now, whether it's virtual or not. You still want to practice this part. Smoke cleanse and then give them any messages that you receive. So my level 2 practitioner students know that we've been practicing this, smudging your partner and then picking up any messages that you receive. Give them that. Take notes of things that must be worked on during the session. So again, if I'm smudging a person, I may not be fixing their chakras right then and there, but I take note. Oh, okay, that looks like that's going to be something I'm going to take into journey. I'm going to look further into what I saw in their root chakra when I go into my journey. Okay, number 6 is open your sacred medicine space. So again, if you took the, or if you do decide to take the Shamanic Path Core courses, which are separate from certification, these are just other courses. I'll talk about that in a second. The first class, we write our protection statement. So if you don't have sacred medicine space that you open, you can use your worksheet that helps you to write your own protection statement, where you're writing it for yourself to put a protection, a circle all around you. So you could read that, or anything else that you use to cast your circle or bring your guides in all around you. And remember to invite their spirit team as well as your own from now on. So now for my practitioner students, now that we're going to be outside of class and you won't be inside of my sacred bubble, you'll be doing your own sacred bubble. If you bring another person into that sacred bubble, you're going to be working with your spirit team and your spirit guides. But go ahead and give permission, invite their guides, invite their ancestors, invite any of their spirit animals to show up, because you might see them when you go into spirit realm and go talk to them in your sacred garden. They'll show up, their ancestors and their guides will now show up and you'll be able to see them. So give them permission, and you can invite them to do the same thing during the session. I'm going to open up sacred guides. Go ahead and just give yourself permission, give your guides, your higher self, your angels, your ancestors to be here with us now. And then number 7 is to do your shamanic journey or whatever service it is that you are providing. Don't forget an offering to their guides during the journey. So if you see any of their guides show up, offer them some sort of guides if you're taking a shamanic journey. And then once you're done with the journey, you're done with the drumming, you come out of spiritual trance, you're done with the pulling the cards, whatever it is, now you're going to report back to the client. You're going to let them know. You decide if you're going to offer an audio or video recording or none at all. So if you're doing a in-person or even in-person or virtual, even if you do an in-person, you can still turn on the recorder on your phone if you want to offer them an audio recording of everything you're about to say. Now that you got your cards ready, or now that you got the messages downloaded or from the shamanic journey, would you like a recording of this? That's up to you on whether or not that's a service you want to offer. But you can just hit the recording on your phone and create an audio file of you just saying everything that happened, all the messages you received, and then you can send that to them in your follow-up email. And we'll talk about follow-up emails next. Okay. And then ask them if they have any questions. So make sure that they understand, because sometimes they're just listening and they're going, oh, And then you're done talking and you're like, okay, they got it. That was successful. That was great. They nodded the whole time. And then you're like, do you understand? And they're like, no, no, not at all. So you want to make sure that you are touching base with them and asking them to ask any questions that you're conveying the messages across that you receive. And then give them any homework from the guides and be sure to thank them for their trust and energy. So thank the person for trusting you, for allowing you to do this work for them as well. So making sure that you know that they didn't have to let you into their energy or let you into their to their space. So you want to make sure that you're expressing gratitude that they showed up, that they're doing this work for themselves, and that they allowed you into their personal space. And then any follow-ups you'd like to offer. So if you offer follow-ups, if you offer like, oh, in a week, I'll check up with you. Or if you say recently, I think that that practitioner is here as well, but recently I experienced a service where for 3 to 7 days, you could ask any questions. You could just kind of have conversations about the services and the reading that you receive. So that's like another example of something that you could do. So it's up to you. You might have like, what is that, like Marco Polo kind of thing, where for the next so many days, you and I will have this service where we can send each other little videos, messages to each other. You can ask me questions and then I'll send you a little quick video back, or you can DM me, so on and so forth. Whatever you would like to offer. That's up to you. Again, it's personal. It's up to you. If you want to feel like the only follow-up offer you'd like to give them is just the follow-up email and then offer for them to book later. And again, it's up to you if you want to give them like a discount on an offer on the next booking or anything. That's completely up to you as well. However you feel that next step should happen. All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about the email. Do you have any questions now? This is about to be like pretty much the last part of the setup here before we're going to be close to the end. So I want to make sure to give you guys a chance to ask any questions before I go into the email. Nope. Everybody's good? Okay. Here we go. So I'm going to just kind of read to you the emails that I offered at the beginning of my when I first started, when I opened up my business. I'm just going to kind of talk about those myself. Okay. So if you were a student of this class, you're going to be getting all the notes from this presentation, as well as a copy of like what this email would look like in your PDF in our class group. I'll share that to the class, so you guys will have it if you would like to download it. But first of all, one of the things that I always include was some kind of like follow-up. Just kind of instructions on something that they would do. So I would give like the end of each session, drink lots of water, listen to your spirit if you need rest, tell them to remember like playtime or food, keep a notebook and pen by your bed to jot down any dreams you may have, because once the spirits have made contact, they may try to communicate with you further in dreams. Okay, so then my follow-up email, so I would tell them that verbally, or I would also sometimes include that in the follow-up email. Follow-up email, especially when I first got started, I made sure every single client got a follow-up email from me. Now, a lot of times, because I know people, we usually talk about this verbally or to happen in DM. So I almost never get to give the follow-up emails. But if someone's brand new and I don't have contact with them in a DM or anything, I still will offer this email. It shows that you care, that you remember any information you promised to send them, and it gives you an opportunity to suggest a future appointment and ask for a review if you have that. If you have some kind of way to accept reviews, this is the perfect way to tell the person, hey, if you'd like to, I would love to have a review from you, and here's how you can do that. You give them the instructions on how to do that. So here's an example of my old email setup. I would copy and paste these and change the information to fit each client. So start off something, you can say, hello again. Thank you so much for allowing me the honor of working with you. I really enjoyed our session. I hope you take loving care of yourself. As a reminder, drink lots of water and rest if you need to. Listen to your inner voice that may be guiding you towards activities that are healing for you right now. Write down any important messages or amazing dreams you might have as well. Then I'd have an session down there from that follow-up information. So an example that I said, well, maybe I said something about Florida water. Maybe the guides told this person to start using Florida water. I might say, here is an Amazon link for Florida water. And so in the follow-up information, I would include that. See, you're the best. That would be great. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I missed. I'll come back to you to that in a second, or you can tell me what did you mean by "you're the best"? That would be great. Let me know.
She was talking to me. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So, these, like I said, these, what I'm reading now, I'm reading to you for the purpose of this, presentation that I'm doing, and you can have the replay as well. But other than me reading this, like I said, that this is something that I'm offering just to my students. So those students who have taken the time to take class with me, they'll be getting this in a PDF. And so this is kind of exclusive for them. So that's just exclusive so that things remain exclusive for those who have actually taken class with me, who've sat down and gone through the journey with me, and who've signed up for my services, because that's something that I offer to them. But I'm still offering it to you guys verbally. Okay. So then I could say something along the lines of, here's an article for someone here's an article that someone put together about energy cleansing, and number 2 describes clapping. So maybe I mentioned something about clapping and cleansing the energy for the person. So here's a link to Florida water, and here's an article about clapping and cleansing the energy of the house. So then I would include a link to that. So this would be in my follow-up part of my email. Then I would also maybe give them any more messages reminding them of something that we touched base with, because this is making it personal to that person. Something that we touch base with during our session, so that it's not, again, we're not just making this generic. We're finding little ways to personalize this email. So as a reminder, look into ways to expand your third eye chakra, while also figuring out a way to bring your throat chakra into more balance. Also, treat yourself to a relaxing and clearing Epsom salt bath. Incorporate salt into your cleansing routines and reach out to your guides for assistance. Most of all, have fun and keep this light. Remember, it's okay to feel like we make this stuff up. That still doesn't make it any less true of a connection. Okay, so that would be like imagine that's a conversation me and this person had. So I'm just bringing up some key tips to what we talked about in our plática or in our session in this email to remind them. So I'm remembering our session. Okay, so then I would have a general message. My next thing underneath there would be maybe a general message. This could include any of your liability statements or anything like legal language, or just something just general overall you want to make sure to say every single time to anyone. So for me, at the beginning, this is how mine read. Now I have one that's along the lines of the company that insures my business for energy medicine. I have a specific clause that I need to make sure to say, but this is kind of similar to that. So general message. Of course, I am not a medical doctor or trained psychologist, and some of the information and tips were simply gathered off of internet searches, and other means of my life experiences. Therefore, if any of the information is invalid, please forgive me. I share what seems pertinent or may be of use to you. I may not have tested the information, so that's like some of those links and stuff. Make sure you test the links so it's not spam, but maybe they give tips that it's like, I didn't try this tip before, but it looks like it might be interesting. Maybe this person might want to try the tip. So I just put that in there just in case I added something like that. I may not have tested the information, and these items may not be regulated. For that reason, please use caution and consult a physician if need be. So that was just my general statement. Okay. And then the last thing I said is one last thing. As of now, I don't have a service that provides surveys. However, I care deeply about how the experience went for you, and positive feedback helps me reach more people as I am growing in my business path. If you would like to send me a small review of your experiences that I may post, so I received reviews directly to me at the beginning, and then I'll ask them for permission for me to post it myself. I'd greatly appreciate it. It is completely optional, and I bolded that word to make sure that they knew they didn't have to. So please don't feel pressure at all. If you'd like me to include your name, let me know. You may also let me know if there's anything you feel could be improved or adjusted. This would help me with our future sessions. Okay. And then last here, if you have any questions or concerns regarding our session, I am reachable via this email address or social media. And of course, I'd love to work with you again. Contact me to book another session whenever you'd like. And then I said, I'm so honored that you chose to work with me. Thank you again. Blessings. Namaste. However you want to end yours, and then your name, your title, link to how to respond to this email, or to go back to your website, whatever you would like to include there. So just to recap, in my emails, when I first started off, I made sure to include these pieces. A, an opening and a general follow-up instructions. B, specific follow-up. So there was general, and then there was specific, either that I promised or thought would be helpful, plus a couple of highlights from our session. C, my disclaimer. D, my request for review or feedback. E, my invitation to work with me again. And then F, my closing, including some sort of gratitude. Okay, so that is the email. And then I have this little picture here, the little heart with the email, because as we learned in our panel that we just did with my soul confidence group, when we asked the community for some of their ideas and things that were important to them, one of the things that came up was receiving that follow-up, that email, that touch base, something to let the person know that I wasn't just a number to you, didn't just forget about me, that extra service, that service-based step. And so email is one of those things I think is really, really great way of doing that, especially if you make sure that you're including these items in your email. Okay, so that was it for my tips on running a spiritual and shamanic business. I will open up again just to make sure anybody has any last questions or comments as soon as I'm done, just letting you guys know of a couple of things real quick. Number one is for any of those who are interested in taking classes with me, or just taking these classes in general. So if you'd like to become a certified shamanic practitioner, you would be taking the certification classes with me. In order to do that, you would start with these Shamanic Path Core courses. And even if you don't want to receive these certification down the line, these classes are actually very, very beneficial and have so much information for you to get started with. So the 4 classes are working with spirit and energy, stepping into a spiritual path, introduction to shamanism, where we kind of talk about the history of shamanism, the difference between neo-shamanism, classic shamanism, cross-cultural shamanism, and then shamanic journey basics, where we talk about going into shamanic trance, the parts of the brain that show up on the actual sensors when they've done studies on the brain when a practitioner goes into shamanic journey, and then we do some exercise shamanic journeys together on the recording. These are self-paced classes that you can take at any time on your own convenience, and the summer is a great time to take them because you might have some downtime here and there. And so right now I'm running a special for the summer, and your coupon code for that would be summer school. So if you go to mysteryschool.wyzdomdvine.com, you will get all 4 classes. I have a bundle for that already. The listed price is $344. But if you put in the coupon code summer school, you will get all 4 classes for $144 instead. So it's a great discount. And then if you guys go ahead and do that, then you'll be ready if you are interested in receiving the shamanic certification with me later on this year, or even if you decide to do it next year when we are back around to taking level 1 classes again, so that you can become certified. So make sure that you take advantage of that. And other than that, only other thing I wanted to mention was just to sign up for emails with me. If you sign up for emails with me right now, the freebie that I'm giving away is a template for writing your own business plan for spiritual practitioners. If you want to go, if you're watching this as the replay, you will be seeing the link is in the description below. You go to that link, fill in your information. You will get the PDF as your gift, but you'll also be signed up for my email newsletters. And so one just went out today for July, but this was the one that we had for May, kind of giving you an example of what they look like. I like to give you guys tips and tricks. I let you guys know everything that I have going on. If I have something new or special or promo, I'll put it here in the email. That way you guys always know when I have good stuff coming up. So I'm going to be taking sabbatical again in September. You want to make sure that you're signed up for emails, because during that time I'll be away from most things, but anything that I do offer, you're going to know about it right away if you are subscribed to the email. Okay, so that is it for the presentation. Questions, comments, concerns, people that fell asleep? Anyone just want to say hi? It's been a while since some of us saw each other, so I know not everybody has got a chance to see Laura, and Laura hasn't got a chance to see everybody. I'm always having events on the days that she has to work, and I'm always kicking myself for it, so it's so nice. I had to throw an event on the day she normally would be in class to be able to include her in there. And Miss Mary's here today too, and those are my 2 students, as I stated. So we all get to say hi to the students, and some of us that we haven't seen. Any questions on any of that? And Ileana, thank you so much for joining us. I've seen your name a couple of times pop up for some of these events, but you got to make it finally. So I'm really, really excited to finally have gotten to meet you.
I'm very excited, and there's a lot of great information, and you have a really good vibe and good energy. So yeah, I think I signed up for something, and then Karen reached out and was like, oh yeah, she's awesome, and we'll have this mutual connection. So yeah, it's grateful to be here. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, you're welcome to come to any future stuff always. And then and there's usually replays. So if you don't make something and you need a replay, you can always reach out to me and ask, was there a replay to that thing that I missed? And I'll send you a link to it, but it's usually up on my YouTube page. But thank you again for joining. And thank you to my graduate students for coming as well. They've sat through this before. So Medicine with Wings, she is also another level 3 advanced shamanic practitioner. And she has gone through all of these classes. So we have level 3 Earth Among the Stars and Medicine with Wings have come all through all of this. They've come a long way with me. And then they're also in my Soul Confidence mentorship program right now. And so is Larissa. She's in my Soul Confidence right now as well. And she's actually learning shamanism through that program. We are in shamanic training one-on-one for that. So we're real excited because she's going to be able to join the circle soon too, when she gets through her next 2 journeys. Okay, so comments, anything? Anybody just want to say hi or anything? I'm here. Go ahead and come off mute. If not, I'll go ahead and just end once you guys are done, once we're ready.
Hi, Maestra. I wanted to thank you so much for this educational class. Some of these things I kind of thought I knew, and I definitely did learn a lot of things tonight. So it was a great value. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for expressing that. Thank you for sharing that with me. That makes me so happy. I figured some of y'all are veterans, but I might be saying something that you could throw into the mix, or it might make you think about it a little differently. So I'm glad to hear that.
Most definitely.
Thank you.
So I was just going to say thank you for this. This was awesome, amazing, always packed with tons of info. So that was really great. Candace is here tonight. She's a new certified shamanic practitioner, as well as Ileana from my other group. And just wanted to say that what you touched on tonight was great for both of them. Starting their practices, they're just out the gate today. So yay.
That's with a different group though. So for some of you guys who are listening, she's talking about a class that she took that was separate from me. I won't hold that against her, but
you know I love you. You know I love you.
But I'm very happy that both of you guys joined. Candace, thank you so much for joining and for joining. I wasn't sure how you found me, so I know Earth Among the Stars is gathering everybody, and she's bringing them.
Yes, because I have that much faith. I have that much faith in Maestra. She's awesome. She's amazing. If you need anything, she's there with tons of info. It's like going to the web. You just go to her.
It used to be a curse. It used to be a curse. Too much information in my brain, but now I found a way to use it. Now I know where I shine. Everywhere else, I'm just that know-it-all. There's that know-it-all girl again. But here, I get to be like, ooh, I get to like, it has a purpose. So thank you very much for your kind words. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate all y'all. I gotta thank you in the chat from Candace, and a thank you also from Nigel. Thank you for joining us again, Nigel. Always happy to have you. And thank you, like I said, also Candace, hopefully we'll see you at another one, at another event sometime soon. We got one more month before my sabbatical, one more free event. Don't know yet. Guides haven't told me what that one's gonna be, but something that's gonna be free for the public one more time before I take sabbatical starting in September. So looking forward to it, whatever that is. Okay.
I also wanted to thank you quick because I'm not at the point where I want to be like opening a business or like doing all this, but I was like, maybe I could do it for like friends or like family. And you highlighted the fact that that's okay.
Yes.
Like you don't have to take all this stuff and go open a business, or I have
yes. So, I made sure to start with that. I started with that. Hey, by the way, just because you learned all this and just because your certificate now is going to say practitioner doesn't mean you have to open a practice. It doesn't mean that at all. That is okay. I know that you're going to find whatever your path is meant to be, Laura. Mary also said, thank you. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Miss Mary. Okay, guys, I love you. I'm going to go ahead and close Sacred Medicine Space. Even though I didn't open it on camera, if you guys just want to just give gratitude in your heart for everybody that came here, for your higher selves, to any guides who were here leading the conversation and opening ears and opening pathways. We just send all of our gratitude from our heart straight to you now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen. I say, aho.
Maestra, before you go,
yes.
Are there any slots available in your retreat?
In the retreat, oh, okay, we got it. Okay, you're gonna have to talk to me on that one after.
Okay, because I just wanted to know if you had any available openings, since we've got some new graduating practitioners that may want to join that.
Okay, well, see me and take a journey on it. You guys take a journey on it. Love you guys, love you guys, love you guys. I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go now. You go ahead and go if you need to. And see you next time. For those of you who are watching this on the replay, please go ahead and feel free to share this video, like for me, leave me a comment if this was helpful, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Maestra DVine out.